people believe that the paranormal and science are separate. But what they don't know, that they are both joined together as one. Join Ben and Louisa on their quest as they bring together science, occult, and the paranormal, only on Occult, History, and Science with Ben and Lou.
Hello. Oh, Ben, you're out shop.
Sorry, I am here, guys.
Hi, buddy.
I'm just sorting
Hope
stuff
you're.
out.
Oh, I'm clicking things on the tripod. There he is. There's the Ben. He's trying to share. How's it going?
In a group into
Yeah. There we go. Hi, Jeanette. So yeah, Ben is a little bit sleepy tonight, which is okay because he's not really going to be doing too much stuff tonight. Just depends what questions you throw at him. Basically, our bathroom ceiling fell in this morning, so Ben's been fixing it. It's taken most of the day, but he's done a good job. Now he's just choking. It's fine. It's all fine. I think you left him upstairs. Okay, so I've got Jeanette. We've got Ron. We've got Craig. Hi. Okay. Ben's just going to run off to get his glasses. This is a book we're going through. Obviously not all in one sitting. We'd be here quite a while. But, like we said, every 2 weeks we're going to go through this book, make our way through it, see what it says. If anyone's got any questions, if people want to make notes, you can do. Yeah, if something's a bit confusing, hopefully Ben can make sense of it for us. So it should be good. We've got Emma on. Hi, Emma. So yeah, we'll just wait for Ben to come back and then we shall begin. Everyone had a good weekend anyway? Anyone do anything exciting? Anyone been investigating? He's returning. You find him?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't apologise. Right then. There he
is. I am here. I'm just
Okay. So we shall begin. As we're going along, any questions, obviously, just put them in chat, and I'll stop periodically so we can discuss if we need to. We'll see how it goes.
If I fall asleep, I will put in the comments so Lou knows I'm asleep.
Oh, little sleep.
Sorry.
We can't see your thumb, I was going to say. Okay, so chapter 1, White Magic, the Evocation of Angels. I can't help it. The highest orders of intelligence known to the Christian mystics and derived, like their general conceptions of the cosmos of matter and mind, from their Jewish initiators, were the messengers of scriptural tradition, who are called in the Greek angelos and in the Hebrew malach. The ambassadorial office has long been eliminated from our conception of these beings, who, in a condition of ecstatic adoration and in
I told you.
It doesn't help when they break it, when they've got undiversified permanence of beautitude, seem to have survived their raison d'etre. It's fancy writing this. According to the rabbinical commentary on Genesis, written by Rabbi Jacob, the angels have no free will. For they, being of a pure understanding and having an inclination to good only, cannot be otherwise than good. And this is an actual doctrine of the Latin Church. Ben, comment.
So in layman's terms, basically angels are nothing more, nothing less than slaves of God. They can perceive no other than the goodness in the world. So in their eye, Jesus busted with backside stink. So in the church's eyes, angelic is good, and that's it. No more, no less. Which we know is also contradicted later on in the Old Testament when you have Aziel, who is the god.
Aziel is now a god.
The angel of death, who went and collected all the souls from Egypt. So that's I can't think of the word. Hypocritical.
Yeah. Practically, however, the angels of Catholic history and legend, in spite of their consummate perfection, would appear to rejoice in the plenary possession of that freedom which an abstract theology demises them. They respond to evocations, they perform miracles, they garner the prayers of the faithful, they overwatch human beings, and they engage everlastingly in a spiritual warfare with the emissaries of perdition and darkness.
Yeah. The angel demonic war, basically.
Yeah. This practical aspect of orthodox angelology corresponds to that of Western magic, both being undoubtedly derived from the ancient faith of Israel, which in turn was indebted for the elements of its pneumatic hypothesis to Egypt, Babylon, and Chaldea, whence the doctrine of the incommunicable name, with the powers and virtues thereof, was derived by rabbinical theosophists. I was doing so well.
I told you, it's a hard book
It
to
is.
read.
The latter evolved out of its diverse combinations of a complex hierarchy of intelligence, analogous to the Alexandrian system of successive emanations, differentiated by a downward egression out of the one and eternal substance. I'm just going to carry on then.
Basically, what it is saying is that in Western occultology, which is Christianity, Judaism, any of the Abrahamic beliefs, that basically stating that angels are messengers, pretty much everything we know anyway in layman's terms.
The incommunicable name came to be considered a fountain of arcane power, and by an easy and natural transition, it was at length regarded as the source of life. The letters which composed it were deemed especially prolific in the creations of intelligence, illumination, and harmony. A measure of their power was extended to the entire Hebrew alphabet, which was endowed with an abstruse mystical significance. It is necessary to explain this point in order to understand the angelical doctrines in the Jewish Magi. Each of the alphabetical symbols represented a vital and creative principle resident in the intelligent world. Just as out of the letters of an ordinary alphabet is evolved the vocabulary of a great language, so from the arcane potencies which were signified by the Hebrew signs, the variations of an infinite existence were divinely elaborated. Now, the supposition of an exact correspondence between the arcane potencies in question and the signs in which they were represented, as well as between the inexhaustible vitalities of the cosmos and the language developed from the signs, constituted the magical character of the Jewish tongue.
So, to give you that in layman's terms, basically they're speaking of the language Hebrew, which is supposed to have come from the angels. But the symbol that they're on about, I'm going to show you in a second. And guys, I'm going to stress this stress to this point. This symbol I'm going to show you is in my leather-bound book, so you are going to see it for once. So if you give me 2 seconds, I will go and fetch it.
And
Talk amongst yourselves.
talking with yourselves. We just dropped on the floor, this dog ball. Ron has commented, this text has already contradicted itself, saying angelics work within the darkness, then just said works with love, etc.
Yeah, it's very. The problem with Western cultology is it is very contradictive. A lot. That's the only problem with it. You have to remember this was like sort of turn of the century, so 1800s, 1900s, and then into modern day now.
1891.
Yeah. So the symbol they're on about, you can find the right page. Give me a second, guys. I've got too much stuff on this page.
Ben's trying to find the page.
It is somewhere. No, it's near somewhere. It is near
Still trying to find it.
it.
Kate says drum roll, please.
Kate, you've been drumming for a very long time. Aha, there you
He's found it.
go.
He's building his suspense even more now.
I was trying to find something to cover it, but it doesn't matter. There you are.
Zoom in on the which one you meaning.
So it would be the top one. Trying to move the camera.
What are you about?
So that is what's known as the seal of God. And then the other one below is also known as the seal of God, which was also known as the seal of Solomon.
Let's try it. I got.
Yeah, it's too bright. There we go.
There we go.
So that's the seal of Solomon that they speak of. And that one up there is what's known as the seal of God. This is what they were on about in that text. And the camera's froze. Whoops.
Is someone not happy that you're showing these online?
Oh, it's fine, man.
Waiting. See if we come back. Oh, sorry, Buster.
Maybe not.
Well, this is going well.
Yep, you're back on.
I'm back on.
Yeah, I've got you back on.
What have you got happening there? Then why is it still frozen on my screen?
So, guys, at the minute, nope. Yep, you're back on.
I'm back on.
Yeah, you're back on.
What have you got happening there? Then why is it still frozen on my screen?
So, guys, at the minute, so we're not frozen. You guys can hear us, but we cannot see a single thing.
No. Not any comments coming up.
No.
Yeah, back on. Back on. Yeah, back on. What have you got happening there? Then why is it still frozen on the screen?
So, guys, at the minute, so we're not frozen. You guys can hear us, but we cannot see a single thing.
No. Not any comments coming up.
No. And then go back in.
Well, nothing's working.
Pull that out. Put it on.
Oh, hang on, hello, I'm back. I'm back. Right, plug me back in, Ben.
You got 47%. You'll be right for a minute.
Okay, I'll be right from there. Soon dream.
Just in case it happens.
Oh, right, what's happened? You can see he's...
See why I don't show the book on camera that often.
Someone wasn't happy. Right, hang on, let's scroll back up to the comments. Right, so we've got... Thank you, we've got Philip saying hello.
Did any...
Kate says, beautiful artwork. Do you have tattoos of any of these, Ben Lou?
I don't have tattoos yet of stuff.
Alright. Evening.
That'll be David.
Go on, that's what's happened. My laptop, no, my phone just completely froze.
Apparently showing my leather bound freezes up phones.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna look. See, fine, not froze. It wasn't froze for people. It just literally froze on my end. Well, that wouldn't have been fun. Anyway, let's carry on. In an interesting and valuable manuscript entitled The Kabbalistic Science or the Art to Know the Good Genesis, there is the following explanation of the mysteries which are contained in the Hebrew alphabet. By the sequence of symbols expanding from Aleph to Jod was symbolized the angelic world, or the hierarchy of sovereign intelligences directly derived from the first eternal light, and attributed to Jod in first and superior correspondence. By the sequence from Kaf... yeah. Thanks, Manny.
Okay.
By the sequence from Kaf to Sad were represented the several orders of angels who inhabit the visible or astronomical and astrological worlds, mystically attributed to Jah, each individual sphere being under the special safeguard of a particular presiding intelligence. The sequence from Sad to Thou is in arcane correspondence in the elementary world, which is attributed by philosophers to Jaho in the paramount order. The destinies of humanity are dispensed in the elementary sphere, and its angelic intelligence preside over animated nature. Anything else, Carry
on.
Okay.
Unless anyone has questions.
Orthodox Christian theosophy enumerates 9 choirs of angelical beings which differ from each other in order and in degree of glory, but are all of the same nature. In the mystical writings attributed to the Apostolic Areopagite, an account of these hierarchies is given in an extended form, and is undoubtedly to the transcendentalist that theology is indebted for the angelical doctrines subsequently developed by S. Thomas. Now the advanced mystic who borrowed the name of Dionysus was indebted in turn to the Kabbalists for his pneumatic hypothesis, as will be seen in the following tabulation of the attributes of the divine names and of the intelligences in correspondence with each of the Hebrew letters. Aye.
So, the ideology is that basically what they've just described is the ranking system in the angelics. What they're also saying is this is where it all gets really, because of how this wrote, it gets really, really bloody complicated. But basically, the Hebrew language is a derivative of the Star of David, which obviously the Star of David being the main symbol. I've got fiberglass in my eye. The main symbol of obviously Judaism is the six-pointed star. Now, from the six-pointed star, you can get every letter in the Jewish alphabet out of that six-pointed star. That's what they're going on about in some weird way around it.
So, 1. The first letter of the Hebrew alphabet is called Aleph. Now, I'm sorry if I pronounce these wrong. I'm just giving it a go. It is in correspondence with, if I just spell out, E-H-E-I-E-H, the fontal name of God, which is interpreted as divine essence. Its seat is in the world called Ensof, which signifies infinity, and its attribute is Kita, the crown. It rules over the angels called by the Hebrews Hath Ho Kodesh, or the living creatures of holiness, who are otherwise named seraphim. So we can all recognise there, and constitute the first and supreme choir. 2. The second letter is Beth, and the divine name which corresponds to it is Bachauer or Electus Juvensis. It is the sign of the Ophanim, who are the angels of the second order and the cherubim of exoteric theology. By their ministry, Jehovah unfolded and cleared the primordial chaos. The attribute of Bachar is Hokmak, or divine wisdom. 3. The third letter is Gimel. It corresponds to the name Gadol, which signifies grand or great, and is assigned to the angels of the third order, whom the Hebrews called Aralim, the mighty and strong. These are the thrones of the Kabbalists and the third choir. By their ministry, tetragrammaton, Elohim establishes and maintains the form of the fluidic matter. Its attribute is Bina, or intelligence.
So here you're looking at what's known as Kabbalistic order. So everyone knows it in Reiki is your main points on your body. Now, when you come away from, obviously, Reiki and occultology side, Kabbalistic is the main points on your body, which is obviously your crown, and your head, and your arms, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. They actually extend into an order system. So you can have a hierarchy at the top, drop it down like a food chain, basically, into the lower points.
4. The fourth letter is Daleth. It represents the name Dagul, which is equivalent to Insignis, and it corresponds to the angels of the Hazmalim, or the angels of the fourth order, who are the dominions of current theology. By their ministry were elaborated the diverse forms of matter, and especially the human body. Hesed is the attribute of El, and signifies mercy and goodness. 5. The fifth letter is He, which typifies the name Nador, significant of the majesty of God, and corresponding to the fifth angelical hierarchy, which is the choir of might and power, and its intelligence are called powers. By their ministry, the elements were evolved by Elohim Gibor, whose numeration is Pachad, which signifies fear and judgment, and whose attribute is Gabura, which signifies strength and power. The sixth letter is Van. Oh no, not Van. Is Val, whence is developed the name Vezio, cum splendor. It stands for the angels of the sixth order, the Malachim, or virtues, by whose ministry Eloah Valdahat produces the metals and other substances which belong to the mineral kingdom. Its attribute is Tippereth, which signifies beauty and splendor. The seventh letter is Zain, which originates the name Zakai, equivalent to Purus Mundus. It corresponds to the angels of the seventh order, the Kabbalistic children of Elohim, who are the principalities of Orthodox faith. By their ministry, the vegetable kingdom was produced by Tetragrammaton Sabaoth, whose attribute is Nizah, which interpreted is triumph and justice. I need to breathe.
Basically, welcome to what I had to study.
Yeah. The eighth letter is called Cheth. It designates the name Chazid, which is equivalent to Misericors. It corresponds to the angels of the eighth choir, the Beni Elohim, or sons of God, who are identical with the angelical host. By their ministry, the animal creation was developed by Elohim Sabaoth, whose attribute is Hod, which is praise. The ninth letter is Teth. It corresponds to Tahor, or the Mundus Purus, and to the cherubim, or ninth choir of angels, who preside at the birth of man, and inspire him with the light which is needed to direct him to eternal life. By their ministry are guardian angels devoted to the whole of humanity by Shaddai and Elhai, whose attribute is the foundation, or Jezod. Nearly done this. The 10th letter is Jod, which gives power to the name Jah, which is equivalent to Deuce. It designates the 10th numeration of the Hebrews, Adonai Melech, or the God King, whose attributes are the kingdom, the temple, and the empire. Its influences extend to the Isim, strong, happy, and blessed man, located in the sphere of the spirit. By their ministry, intelligence, industry, and the knowledge of divine things descend as an influx to the embodied humanity. Oh.
Are we all right, folks?
So that's their breakdown of like the 10. They give it 10.
The 10 orders
of angelics.
Yeah. There is more. Sorry, guys. There is a hell of a lot more to it than that. I do have the full breakdown, which I will cover at some point in cultology for you guys. But we'll look into a bit more depth on that one and make more sense, shall we say, when it gets explained. I know this is heavily Christianized, guys. It's just, it happens to be what they were, what the main thought was at that point.
The angelical, the angelical world is completed with the 10th letter, but the rest of the Hebrew alphabet corresponds to individual princes of intelligence, governors of innumerable hosts, and severally enacting an important part in the economy of the mystical universe. Metatron is in correspondence with Kaf, the 11th letter. By his ministry, the sensible world receives deific virtues. He belongs to the first heaven of the astronomic world. There is also the final Kaf, which corresponds to the intelligences of the second order, who govern the heaven of the fixed stars, and especially the zodiac signs. Their supreme chief is Raziel. Named the 12th letter, corresponds to the intelligence of the third heaven, who presides in the sphere of Saturn. Their lord is Shibatiel, whose attribution is the hidden god. Mem, which is the 13th letter, corresponds to the fourth heaven or sphere of Jupiter. The sovereign intelligence who governs this planet is called Sadkiel. There is also the final Mem, which is the analogous to the fifth heaven or sphere of Mars, with Camiel for supreme intelligence. He is the strength and fire of God and presides over many princes. Nun is the 14th letter and corresponds to the sixth heaven, which is that of the sun. Now, the first sovereign intelligence which governs the grand luminary is the splendid and mighty Raphael, the house of God. Nun, in its aspect, has a final correspondence to the sphere of Venus, which is also the seventh heaven, and has Haniel for its sovereign lord, who is the love, justice, and grace of God. Samek, the 15th letter, corresponds to the eighth heaven, which is that of the star Mercury, and is governed by Michael. The 16th letter is Oin, which is analogous to the ninth heaven, the sphere of the moon, governed by the messenger intelligence Gabriel. The astrological and astronomic world finish with this letter, and the succeeding sequence of arcane correspondence is concerned with the elementary plane.
It's confusing, isn't it?
So it's like they're all then linked up to the planets, and they're linked up to like your named angelics.
Yes, but also, if anyone noticed in the middle of this is where the questions start coming. It mentions multiple gods. And not just Jehovah, it mentions other gods. This is where Christianity starts to deteriorate. And that's where the true understanding of cultology starts. You start to realise that the Abrahamic beliefs have multiple gods in. And thus, you start to understand and look at the Bible a completely different way.
From like another point of view, where we're going like with these different names and then linked to the different planetary things, So like when you're doing your different seals and everything for like whatever purposes, like you showed me before, it shows how like if you're calling on someone, they've got like the planetary one as well that you link it to. And obviously we've not got the symbols here to like show you right now, and I'm not going to ask Ben to start ferreting around different symbols, but like each angelic has got a different symbol. The planetary symbols are different, and if you can link them up for different purposes.
All them sort of symbols do have in a book, which I will show you all. I do have more than the leather bound, but as we've just seen, if I show the leather bound to the to the actual camera for some reason, everything just freezes up, stalls. Let me just have a look because there's been loads.
We've
of
had some
questions.
comments. Let's go back a second, guys.
I'm somewhat still alive, guys. I'm just sort of faithful.
Jeanette says it's mind blowing. Difficult book to read.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Joe says, I was brought up Irish Catholic and I'm proud and impressed with how you can say thank you. I'm trying. Really trying. It's not easy. I'm brave. I just joined. What's happening, y'all? We are looking through this book. We're starting on it. It's going to be a fortnightly series. Working our way through this book. It was written in 1891. Hence all the fancy words.
This book basically was known as Cultology 101, believe it or not.
Yeah, which is why we're kind of going through it. Yeah, because it's of its importance, really, with all its knowledge that it contains. We're starting off with the white magic, which is why we're talking about angelics at the moment, but it does go on to the black magic or demons, and it goes on to
necromancy,
the elixir of life, astrology.
Elixir of life.
Elixir of life. The wife would like some elixir. I am empty. You can get it in a second, but carry on.
Yes, it was.
Well, there's been so much you have to rewatch. Definitely a good history lesson. Thank you. You read that. Well, thank you. And Ben showed us a few seals from his book. Yep, and that just made everything freeze up at our end. Did you write it, Ben?
I know.
He's not that old.
I feel it in a minute. Just a quick update because I know you guys like the pups. So
Pup watch.
Pup watch.
We've got one pup asleep here.
One pup is here. He's growing. He's teething. Been a little pain in the backside.
The other one's in a cage.
Demon dog is in the naughty cage because she was stealing food off plates.
Yeah, she ate a mochi. Luckily, it wasn't a chocolate one. It was just a strawberry cheesecake mochi.
So she's been told off and she's in the naughty corner.
Yeah. Right. You can get me a drink in there, please. Thank you. Oh, just carry on. Thus, Fae, the 17th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, has a reference to the first of the mystical elements, which is held to be fire, and its sovereign intelligence is seraphim. Fae final corresponds to the air, which is the abode of the sylphs, whose lord is cherubim. Sade, the 18th letter, has reference to water, which is the abode of the nymphs. Now, the queen of the nymphs is Tharsis. Kopth is the 19th letter. It is in correspondence with Earth, which is the sphere of the gnomes, having Ariel for its presiding intelligence. Resh, which is the 12th letter, applies to the animal kingdom, including man. Shin corresponds to all vegetable substances, and Tau, the last symbol of the Hebrew alphabet, refers to the world of minerals. So that's how we finished the previous paragraph about going on to the elementary plane. There's a little explanation there of who goes with what, basically. How it's all kind of linked. We've linked it to planets. Yeah. Now we're linking to the elements.
Well, that's where everything gets really political.
My cat is called Mochi.
Nice.
I like that. And Mini Cerberus. Yeah.
Yes, Mini Cerberus is here. Cerberus is in the cage.
When you say mini, he's now bigger than the other one.
Yeah.
The little spud has grown. Besides the celestial hosts, which are enumerated in the above tabulation, the mystical calculus of the Hebrews establishes the existence of other angelical sequences, as, for example, the angels who encompass the great white throne, and those names are entirely extracted from the three mysterious verses of the 14th chapter of Exodus. Such elaborations of a multitude of titles, by means of Kabbalistic computations and their endowment with corresponding powers and formal periods of influence, were prized by rabbinical writers as containing the keys of the government of the universe. It is hardly on their own merits that we have included these speculations in the practical handbook. Yes, this is a practical handbook, guys, of occultism, although they are almost venerated by a certain selection of modern mystics. But they are vitally important as establishing the exact nature of Kabbalistic conceptions concerning those worlds of invisible intelligences whose outer fringes are contagious to our own horizon, of which they had glimpses as we have, but of which they had little real knowledge, and could formulate no adequate hypothesis. The inadequacy of their speculation is embarrassing to believers in the infallibility of the Hebrew mystics, but offers no obstacle to those who are investigating the actual scope of ancient knowledge concerning the facts of psychology and can distinguish the landmarks of true experimental progress amidst a wilderness of distraught speculations.
What's your drink?
Go have lemonade, please.
Sorry, guys. It's been a long week. We was out Friday night on an investigation.
Friday night, Smedic baths. Didn't go until 3:30.
Yeah.
Last night, you might have caught me and Jeanette doing the live. Luckily, that wasn't too late. We just came straight to bed.
Yeah.
You've been fixing the bathroom ceiling today. I think you can get yourself a drink as well.
Oh, no.
Oh, honey. I'll carry on. The rites to be used in the conjuration of the more exalted intelligences are found in the Key of Solomon. We'll all know Ben mentioning that a lot. An excellent edition of which has been issued by Mr. Mathers. Intelligences of this nature are generically dominated angels, but they often partake in the character of superior elementary spirits, and this is undoubtedly the case with most of those who are supposed to be controlled by the imprecations and threats of the mages. Thank you.
Now, there is a difference between mages and magi. That's what this book doesn't cover. And I think, if I remember correctly, it mentions magi at some point. Now, the magi are Middle Eastern magicians dealing with magic, dealing with the jinn, and all that sort of stuff. Mages are Western, what everyone would consider as wizards, warlocks, and all that lot. So that's a little bit of the difference, if it comes up. I can't remember.
Von said, Ben is suffering, he is coming down with something. And Jeanette says, is the cough due to dust from the roof?
I've been in a very dusty environment, yeah, with fiberglass and wall insulation and stuff. It's been very dusty today.
Where are we? An anonymous German work published at Frankfurt in 1686 and entitled Theosophia Pneumatica appears to comprise, in a comparatively small space, the most satisfactory formulae for the invocation of the supreme angels. A translation in manuscript made by Dr. J. M. Reeder, having recently come into our hands. Remember, recently is not recently, it's like 1891. We have made it the foundation of the citations which follow. Students will perceive that it is somewhat similar to the treatise by R. Beitel on magic. The classifications and names of the angels, as they exist in this curious work, are not in correspondence with those which have been already given, but as it is acknowledged by the mystics that the true names, which is equivalent to saying the real and ultimate natures, of all unseen beings are inaccessible to human research, importance should not be ascribed to any of the variations. Titular distinctions in the matters of magical practice have little but literary utility. Once in the presence of an angel, it is said, the soul has no need of speech, much less of the ordinary methods of social address.
So basically, it is stated that once we progress beyond our human bodies, that our ability to communicate is no longer needed in this form. The best example of this being how mediums interact with spirits. If that kind of makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, my brain's kind of...
No, you're all right. Von's asking, did you wear a mask?
Yes.
Oh, and Charles is on.
Hey, Charles.
I don't Ben. Oh, he's like, here, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I wore somewhat of a mask.
Good one. The magical treatise in question has the common disability of all works of its age and class. Its aspirations, its intentions, and its practical value as a ritual must be sedulously separated from its crude philosophical setting. Whatever the spiritual knowledge attained by the mages of old, it was seemingly insufficient to raise him above the intellectual limitations of his time. And it must ever be remembered that the modern scheme of mystical criticism, which seeks to account for such obvious philosophical inadequacies as exist in the ancient mystics by assuming that, in spite of superior attainments, they condescended for concealed reasons to countenance current opinions, scientific or religious, is without any actual warrant in known fact. In Pneumatic magic, that's in Pneumatic magic apparently, the names of the angels are classified under the title of Olympian or celestial spirits who abide in the firmament and supreme constellations. Here we are coming out of the actual quote. It is their function to acknowledge the Theta and to administer the inferior destinies. Each Olympic spirit accomplishes and teaches whatsoever is portended by the star in which he is ensphered. Yet can he do nothing of his own power, nor without a special command from God. There are 7 stewards of heaven, by whom God is pleased to administrate the world, to wit, Ara, Tharan, Bethor, Pheleg, Uth, Hagith, Ophiel, Phil. They are thus called in the Olympian language, and each of them has a numerous army and grand chivalry at the firmament. And it then goes on to just say, like, how many regions they command over. I'll just pop that there. If you can kind of see that, just a little table with, there we go, each of the names and how many regions they have command over. The Olympic regions are in all 196, over which the 7 stewards extend their policy. The mysteries of these regions and the firmaments are explained in the sublime science of transcendental astrology and the means of establishing communication with the powers and principalities therein. Arathron appears on Saturday at the 1st hour and gives a true answer for his regions and their inhabitants. So also with all the others, at each at his own day and hour, and each presiding over a space of 490 years. The functions of Bethor began in the 50th year before the birth of Christ, and were extended till the year of Christ 430. Fagel reigned till AD 920, Och till the year 1410. Hagith will govern until 1900s. The others shall follow in succession. These intelligences are the stewards of all the elements, energizing the firmament, and, with their armies, depending from each other in a regular hierarchy. Anything?
No,
No.
that kind of explains it a bit.
Yeah.
down there about the different ranking systems within the ranking system. That's the
Mm.
problem. It gets
Who presides over which so many years?
Yeah. Which, this is where this can also. Oh dear.
All right.
Yeah, nearly sneezed. This is where it can coincide with the teachings of Enoch and Moses, where they are said to have lived for a certain amount of years. I think Moses was supposed to have lived to like the age of 400 or something. And this also jumps, you can jump from this into the Sumerian, where the kings lived for. Oh, the king list extends their life beyond thousands of years. So we currently came to the end of a reigning Olympian in 2019, believe it or not, and we're now entering the new stages of the next one. So it's all fun. And the camera has frozen again.
All right. You just
Let's double check.
you check, see if we're actually still live. Because ours is frozen, but for all you know, you guys out there are still watching us. Because that's what happened last time, it seems. Because ours is frozen, but for all you know, you guys out there are still watching.
So you guys can hear us, but we cannot see a single thing.
No, I am frozen on the screen. Do you
Yeah.
just want to turn the volume down on that then, so it doesn't?
Yeah.
Okay, I shall carry on then, and then hopefully my phone will catch up and be back on.
I will be in the comments.
Yep. The names of the minor Olympian spirits are interpreted in diverse ways, but these alone are powerful, which they themselves give, which are adapted to the end for which they have been summoned. Generically, they are called Astra, and their power is seldom prolonged beyond 140 years. The heavens and their inhabitants come voluntarily to man and often serve against even the will of man. But how much more if we implore their ministry? That evil and troublesome spirits also approach men is accomplished by the cunning of the devil, at times by conjuration or attraction, and frequently as a penalty for sins. Therefore, shall he who would abide in familiarity with celestial intelligences take pains to avoid every serious sin. He shall diligently pray for the protection of God to vanquish the impediments and schemes of Diabolus, and the God will order that the devil himself shall work to the direct profit of the theosophist. Are we still going live?
Yeah, we're still live.
Okay. Subject to divine providence, some spirits have power over pestilence and famine. Some are destroyers of cities, like those of Sodom and Gomorrah. Some are rulers over kingdoms, some guardians of provinces, some of a single person. The spirits are the ministers of the word of God, of the church and its members, or they serve creatures in material things, sometimes to the salvation of soul and body, or again to the ruin of both. But nothing, good or bad, is done without knowledge, order, and administration. Still all good?
Yeah, I'm just putting on the comments. Any questions, guys? I've got fiberglass in my other eye now.
Oh my gosh. Probably because you keep touching your face. Have you actually washed yourself?
No, yeah, no.
So you're rubbing your hands on your head?
I wash my hands.
Yeah, but you're rubbing your hands on your head, picking it off your head, not putting it in your eyes. Fine.
Shush.
No.
Yeah.
Arathron is the celestial spirit of Saturn. He can operate natural things prepared by astrological influences. He may change everything into stone, whether animals or plants, but they will perceive their exterior appearance. He changes treasures into coal and coals into treasures. We need to get some coal and we need to get this guy in.
That's basically going on to alchemy of the lead into gold.
He gives familiar spirits with definite power. He teaches alchemy, magic, and natural philosophy. He joins men to gnomes and earth spirits. He renders people invisible. He governs fertility and conception. He teaches the discovery of lead. There you go. Its manipulation and its change into gold. He teaches the art of curing the smaller animals of their diseases, such as goats, poultry, etc. He gives intelligence of prisoners and of sick people, dispatches ministering spirits who serve after his own manner, enlarges the understanding, gives excellent advice on all elevating subjects, and is most exact in his calculations.
Mm-hmm. We are still live.
We are still alive.
Time getting on as well. So
Yeah.
I just want to leave it there.
Oh, hang on. Oh, that's not my charger. Where's my charger, honey?
Yeah.
I just want to try it, see if it'll. Sorry, Buster. See if it'll just make this actually jump it. Yeah, because it seemed to do it when we pulled it out. Oh, I think it has. Yeah, it's just jumped it on again.
Beautiful.
Let's have a look. We've got comments. Sound like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Are you growing a Gandalf beard, Ben?
No, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Ron says, so again, it's gone full circle with saying God controls the spirits and the devil.
Yeah. It's very contradictory of itself. It constantly goes in a circle. That's the problem with me. Oh, yeah.
He's trying to talk and
Very
on at the same time.
Christianity based. But
Yeah.
that's with the era it was. The second wave of cultology, which this is, was it was more Christian based.
And Charles asks, was there an archangel Joel in the Book of Enoch?
Yes, there was an archangel called Joel in the Book of Enoch.
Hey, Spud.
And there is an Evelyn Ward watching.
Oh, no.
Squishler is watching from. Sorry, Evelyn is watching from upstairs. Bless her. But yeah, so we've got about 5 minutes left of the show, guys. So I don't know if you want to wrap it up where it is.
Might as well just leave it where it is, because then we're just going on to around next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm just trying to see which bit I was actually
You're
on.
just trying to find a point. So
Yeah, I need to find actually where I was. I don't remember.
next.
Oh yeah, because we're just talking about Arathron, the celestial spirit of Saturn.
Yeah.
How he does all them things. Just as a side note, he must be invoked on a Saturday at the first. Ben. He must be invoked on a Saturday at the first hour of sunset in the increasing moon. There you go. If you want to summon him to help you with any of that list of stuff, that's when you need to call him.
Mm-hmm. Yes, next Friday, obviously, we'll have the main show. I'm not sure what the plan is yet with that, because my brain can't process anything at the minute.
Yeah, we need to get back in touch with Damon, see what we're all thinking.
Obviously, Sunday's show, I will let you guys know, because I might not be in very much of a fit state to do a Sunday show.
So it might be this carrying on then.
Yes, we will see. We will see. So yeah. Other than that, guys.
But I know it was a lot to take in. I think Von's put. Hang on. Let's have a look at the comments. Jeanette's put interesting night. Yeah, Von's put, thanks Lou, you have filled in the gaps and now catching up to the part. I understand more. Yeah, because it was quite a lot going off there.
This is
just rewatch, make notes. If you got any more questions from watching again, and anybody, just send them over to Ben.
The thing with this book is it is a hell of a lot to process, and because of the way it's written, it was written for basically our aristocrats.
But it's a handbook.
Yes,
it calls itself a handbook.
This was.
Do you want a drink? Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was written just as the rebirth of like druidism and stuff like that was starting to come back. It wasn't frowned upon as much for big households to have like seance parties and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so you had like your normal sort of like middle class people would have the seances, and then you have like your upper class who would have their occultism parties.
Yes.
Where they whip out this book and others like it, and they'd sit around, I'd say, like with cigars and whiskey, discussing these things, discussing the different.
Yeah, you'd have gentlemen discussing like philosophy, cultology, and stuff like that. So it's written in that sort of era of understanding, shall we say.
Mm.
But yeah, so hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this. Hopefully you enjoyed it so far. Big shout out to Lou for reading through it, bless her. Because I had to type it all out when I was learning it because my dyslexia just would not process some of the words. So I had to type it all out to hear it and understand it. So I know how hard it is to pronounce the words. But yeah, so hopefully guys, we'll cover this book, you'll enjoy it, and in between we'll do some other shows on other Sundays. It's just today I am, well, you can tell by looking at me, I'm dead in the water, guys. So Luke, bless her, took over for me today.
It's all right. You're going off to work tomorrow, and you're not leaving me with a big hole in this bathroom ceiling, so I'm happy. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Very interesting. Okay, so thank you both. Very interesting. Beautiful, really nice one. Try. Try not to let the Yorkshire accent come through too much when I'm reading these things. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Charles says, I'll rewatch. Thanks, guys. Thanks again, Lou. You did well. I struggle if I don't have the book in front of me.
You can find this book on Amazon, believe it or not. It's quite an easy buy. So if anyone does want it, it is on there.
Sasha says thanks. And says take care.
It is a com.
There's the dog scratching.
Yeah, the dog scratching. So yeah, if you want to buy the book,
yeah, I'll see if I can pop a link or something.
Well, it gets complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys.
But it helps having a Ben.
Yes.
Just to translate it all.
Well, we'll see. When he's a bit more awake.
Honey.
But yeah. So we'll see you guys Friday, hopefully.
Yep.
Okay. Beyond
good
that,
night.
Be safe, be good. And if you can't stay out of trouble, make sure you make enough of it.
Is that what you're going with tonight?
Yeah, that's what we're going with it.
All right then. Bye.
You can't pay the devil, make the devil pay.